Estranged from my family. All for you people. So
Oh my
5-star
god.
reviews. Give us 6-star reviews while you're at it. Teamwork makes the dream work. Woo! Ooh, all right. All right. Hello and welcome to the Untranslatable podcast. We are here recording episode 151. And today we got a spicy and dicey episode coming your way because we are going to be talking about stereotypes. So, make sure if you're a snowflake, you better be sitting somewhere where it's cold because it might get a little offensive today. You never know. It's going to be a fun one. We hope no one's actually legitimately offended. Well, I hope not. I can't speak for Jared. I'm not really sure about that. Jared tends to be the one that cracks the whip on the podcast. I'm the softie, so what can I say? But we're going to be talking some stereotypes today, and I think some stereotypes might be good. Some are obviously very bad, but we can talk more about that later. I'm very curious to see what Jared has for us today. So without further ado, my amazing co-host, my man with a plan. What's going on, Jared?
Hello. Listen, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no intention of any sort of offense. I think this is going to be a fun, good time. And we're not necessarily going to be talking about whether we think they're true or not. I more want to talk about where they came from. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings here, except
That's true.
Maybe the Southerners, maybe the British.
Yes.
Maybe some Germans. Definitely the French. I mean, come on.
The French, for sure. We do rag on the French once in a while here at the Untranslatable podcast.
It's fun to
it's all
mess with
just tough
Italians
love.
every now and again, you know? So, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, Jared, I think it's safe to say as long as we mess with everybody, it's all good, right? Isn't that how that works?
We'll find out, I guess. Let's see. But first, spread a little love. Preemptively. Pause. No, you don't have to pause it. Do that. Follow us on Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast, Twitter, Untranslatable1. Do this first. 5-star reviews. Spread a little love. On iTunes and Stitcher. And also, you can see us on YouTube. It's a lovely morning here in Michigan, nice and brisk. But I like it. Not too cold. It's not snowing. That's what's really important, How's it going in China for you? Oh, how's teaching going, dude? I feel like I haven't heard about those little rascals, as you call them, over there. Chad doesn't call
My
them
little
that.
rascals. Makes it sound like I'm a kindergarten teacher who doesn't like my students or who loves my students, one or the other. I feel like little rascals can also be a term of endearment. But anyways, it's been going well. We only actually have 5 weeks left of the semester. So that's really hard to believe. So a month and some change, and then I am on my long break. We'll have to talk about that more later when I know more about it and what my plans are. I've revealed some secret plans to Jared, but we won't leak those just yet.
So I didn't realize this was a school break, though.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's Chinese New Year, we get like 6 weeks off.
6 weeks. Wow.
Yeah, man.
So that encompasses American Christmas, too?
No.
Or Western Christmas?
No, but
okay.
It does not.
Because I believe the New Year is in February this year, right?
New Year's. Yes.
Or next year.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's a long time.
So it should be fun. Yeah, it is.
That's especially a long
do
time.
Some traveling.
Well, maybe not. I was going to say, because you're there for 10 months, but maybe not. It's still 9 months of working. Okay.
Right.
Cool.
The teaching's been going well. I had my English corner last week.
English
corner. We talked about...
That's what you call it.
Friendship. That's like my conversation hour, my English corner.
Right.
Different name, same thing.
Friendship.
But
did you bring me up?
As always, of course I did.
Okay.
I brought you up and said, check out the Untranslatable podcast and 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. All right, so here are some questions, Jared. That was right. I said, we're only friends because of a podcast that has nothing to do with the year we spent in Austria or that we were in the same fraternity or that we lived like basically right across the hall from each other as freshmen in college. None of that. Anyway, I got some questions for you, Jared. Got some questions. So, here's a good one, Jared. What do you think about a friendship between a boy and a girl? Meaning it's just friends. Is it possible? Is it doable?
I I'd say
This was asked by a boy, by the way. I don't know if
it's
that
definitely
changes your
doable.
opinion.
I mean, it's definitely doable, first of all. But I would say that the younger you are, the more likely that friendship is started by one of the parties having more of an interest and just waiting for it to, for like some sort of quote unquote opportunity. But I would say,
there's a sweet spot there.
What do you mean a sweet spot?
I mean that when you're really little kids, I think you can definitely be very good friends, and there's
I don't
nothing
mean
there.
yeah.
But then once you hit them teenage years, yeah,
I'd say once you
that's
start
for sure.
hitting maybe 12, 13, the motives start to change, I would imagine. Yep. But like,
that's such a weird time, man. When
but
you
even
start
still,
liking the opposite
still,
sex.
it's possible. Like, let's not be ridiculous. It's still possible.
Of course.
But yeah, I would say there's just a higher chance of it being motivated by one of the parties being into the other party.
Right. But I would say this. I think if
but it's easier the
people
older you
meet-
get. You know more. You
Yeah.
understand people more. It takes a little more for you to
True.
be into someone. It's not that easy.
Right. Yeah, they can't just be attractive or pay attention to you. That's true. That is very true.
Did she just say my
One
name?
or the other. Right. Wait, did she look at me?
I knew there was something there.
No, she was looking behind you. Yeah, right. But what I told them was, I think it's actually very good for men and women to have platonic relationships, friend relationships, most definitely. And I think it is very possible. I also think, though, too, that these neckbeard guys out there, like the quote unquote nice guys, they need to stop.
I've never heard that before.
The neckbeards, man. You've never heard that before? Yeah.
No.
That's like a term for like the dudes with neckbeards and wearing the fedoras. And like call girls like milady. Ugh, it's cringeworthy.
Milady.
It's terrible.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah. Yep. you need to brush up on your memeology, Jared.
I really
You're
do.
slacking on your memeology.
Is that like
here.
a popular meme character?
Oh yeah. If you just
okay.
Google meme neckbeard and you'll find lots of good ones, I'm sure. Lots of them. Just Google them.
This is
But anyways,
my work computer is
I think
for.
the thing is that I think people need to also be honest with one another. So, and it's easier said than done, especially when you're a teenager. Found some
know
good
this
ones,
guy.
didn't you? See? Yeah, I'm sure you have. Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry.
The good old neck beard. I knew that would make you laugh. I knew that would make
Girls,
you laugh.
please stop picking cute boys over me. It's so hard to be an alpha male these days. It's one of those swag is for boys, classes for men. I remember those
Yep.
pictures back in the day. Sorry. All right, go ahead.
Yep.
So go ahead.
But anyways, I think that like people should just be honest about their intentions. Obviously, it's easier said than done, especially when you're a teenager who's
no
probably
one's honest when
insecure
they're
and doesn't know
15.
anything. But right. Anyways, then I got asked by another student: is it easier for an American to learn Français than a Chinese person? And my short answer was yes.
My short answer would be I have no idea. You tell me.
Well, English and French have much more in common than French and Chinese.
Even
So
someone
that's
that
why.
knows zero French knows some French, just doesn't know that they do.
Right. Like bonjour or something, yeah. Mm-hmm. Escargot.
And the alphabet's
You've seen
already
Inglourious
something
Basterds.
we can relate to. We're already starting
Right.
a little bit further.
Right. Oh, here was a good one, Jared, and maybe you can answer this one. How do people in America make friends?
I'm still trying to figure that out myself.
We did a Friends Abroad episode. Do we need to do a Friends at Home episode, Jared?
We can do that. Well, I'll write it down. How do people? I think there's a lot of it's a lot of sport related. I mean, it's the same as anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a lot of sports talk in China?
A little bit. I would say though, Jared, I would broaden that brush stroke a little bit and say it's not sports, but it's hobbies and interests. I think that's really how people at most places make friends, right? You have similar
of
interests.
course. But I'm saying, of course. But I'm trying.
But
Of course, it's
sports are a
hobbies and
super
interests.
social event.
But I'm saying sports are a common thing that bring people together in the U.S. I mean, you there's a whole bunch of like restaurants that'll have like like B Dubs has like 4,000 TVs in it. I went to a B Dubs a couple weeks ago. I couldn't even. I couldn't even focus on a person.
Pay attention.
I couldn't
could you?
focus on a
Yep, I
TV.
believe it. Yep.
I was. It was between. Oh my god. So and also like it's a very like it's just a big sports culture. Like when I was in Philadelphia, it was a common point of conversation was the Eagles. So I would say sports specifically is a big thing that brings people together in the U.S.
Absolutely.
And that it's often brought up with people. Hobbies and interests,
I would agree
obviously,
with
but that just seems way too general to me. Like, that's how everyone is friends, because they have something in common.
Right. Or through friends of friends, also parties. All right, but here's another good
Work
question,
is also
Jared.
a huge one, I would say.
Yeah, I think
know
you
a lot
and I
of-
are not great at that.
I don't like making friends at work. It's not even that I'm not good at it. Although I do have actually, I do at my new job, I do have one friend that I've hung out with a few times outside of work, and we have a more social relationship, I would say.
Nice.
But this is the first
Nice.
time, and I've been in the working for a while, so.
Right. That's fair. So, Jared, here's another good one. What are some things that we shouldn't ask when making friends in America?
See, I don't believe all that BS about the political stuff. Now, maybe I wouldn't ask it, but I want to know because
Right.
it definitely will change my opinion of you. What shouldn't you ask? I don't know. I don't really. If you want to ask it, go
I think
for
when
it.
you're first making friends,
I don't know.
there
Go
are,
for
I
it.
would say,
Ask
some
whatever
very
you want.
intrusive. Yeah, but I think in the beginning, when you're just developing a
Maybe
friendship, there are definitely
sexuality.
some-
Don't ask about sexuality. What do you like? I don't know. Is that fine too? Because if you
I
think
feel
that's
like
fine,
that's
then I'm
okay.
going to go back to my original statement. Ask whatever you want. I don't care.
Okay, that's fair. Well, what I told my students was at least when you're first starting to like talk to somebody and like try to make friends, because the whole point of this English corner was to try to give
Religion?
them some skills that if they went, yes, I said religion, but the whole point of the English corner was to give them kind of an idea if they went abroad to the United States or somewhere in the West and they wanted to make friends, what are some good topics and not so good topics to talk about. I would say at least when you first meet people, I would say politics is not a great one to talk about. Now, if you want to become close friends with someone, like it maybe doesn't hurt, but I think this might be something that you and I actually disagree on, though, Jared. I have, probably just because I'm from a little farm town in Michigan, I have friends who are Trump supporters. And I obviously don't support him, but I'm not going to stop being friends with them because they have a different political view than I do.
I would say we're different on that too. I had one or two very close friends from high school that are Trump supporters, and I don't talk to them anymore. I don't. Whenever I used to look at their social media, it would just make me mad, And I'd be like, this is bullshit, And so no. But I get where you're coming from. I don't disagree with your stance. I just haven't been presented with some that I want to be friends with, I guess.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. Let me give you a couple.
But
more
I'd
and then
agree
we'll
with you
move
on
to
religion.
a shout-out.
I'd agree with you on religion, probably. But I would
I
say
think
that
religion can be a touchy one.
But I would say that there's a lot you could talk about if you just go about it the right way. Like you just have to know how to approach it. I would say.
I would agree. Here was a funny one, and I'm going
Or
to.
it's like,
usually
if-
I slightly.
If you want to have a actual constructive political conversation, don't start with, "What do you think of that Trump guy? He's an asshole, isn't he?"
Right.
If we're
right.
actually going to try to have like a real conversation, just know how to go about things.
Right. Oh yeah, for
Have
sure.
some tact.
Absolutely. Definitely. Here's a funny one, Jared. And usually I slightly edit these just so our listeners understand, but I'm going to read this one more or less how the student wrote it. And I'll see if you can decipher this question. I had to read it a few times to figure it out. But I've seen a game of rotating bottle, and it's about a wardrobe, meaning a closet, and friends. What is that?
Oh, I know
So
exactly.
Jared, illuminate us. Tell us what that is.
Spin the bottle, where
Yep.
you spin a bottle in a circle, and whoever it lands on, you have to go make out with. Now I'll tell you what. That game to me only exists in movies and TV shows. I have never once come across a spin the bottle game. I've never come across a 7 minutes in heaven game. I was never. Now, it was definitely happening at my schools. I was never getting invited to those parties. I was not a cool kid in high school.
Speak for yourself. I was about to say, speak for
yourself.
yourself.
I know you were. These were happening in your bonus at your freaking house. Yeah.
No, actually, not at my house. We never had it at my parents. But we would actually play spin the bottle, but it would be spin the bottle, truth or dare. So if it landed on you, you would have to pick truth or dare. So I don't know if that's better or worse. We made our friends do a lot of stupid things. So I don't know if it's necessarily better or worse. But yeah, so
I guess I played truth or dare before. But I never got invited to any of these make-out parties back in the day. I only heard about the legend of these, and I'd be like, oh, yeah, that sounds like fun. Cool.
Right.
No, I went to the movies, Had to see the new Dr. Dolittle.
You better believe it.
Okay. You know they're coming up with another one. Sorry, go ahead.
Here was a question that, not going to lie to you, got me a little choked up in front of... How many students were there last week? Got me a little choked up in front of about 65 students.
Damn, this thing is still growing. I feel like the last time you told me about it, it was at like 45 or 50.
It's going to be at 300 by the end of the year. You just wait. Mark my words. Mark my words. I'm going to feel like I'm one of those like self-help gurus, like walking out on stage.
You start wearing
motivational
like speaker. Or like cloths to welcome, friends. Please sit in a circle.
Wear sunglasses the whole time, even though it's dark. Anyways,
my children, come close.
My little rascals. Anyways, this one got me choked up a little bit. The student asked me, "What do you do when you miss your family members?" And so we actually didn't talk about this on the pod, but maybe hope I won't get choked up now talking about it. But I mentioned last week that I think 2 or 3 weeks ago there was a tragic incident at Albion College. Actually, I don't know why I didn't do that as a shout out.
I don't know if we talked about that.
We didn't. So let's talk about it. So real quick, there was a tragic incident at Albion College, Jared and my alma mater, where I believe he was a freshman, maybe a sophomore, basketball player named Zach Winston committed suicide. He stepped in front of a train and was killed. And Zachary Winston is actually the brother of Cassius Winston, who is the star point guard on MSU's men's basketball team. And so it was all over the media, obviously, because that's the crazy thing, though, is if it would have been a student that wasn't
connected,
didn't have as high of a profile, you probably wouldn't have heard much about it. But anyways, that's
especially
not the
at our
point
school.
of why I'm bringing this up. Right, because Albion's pretty small.
Right.
But anyways, and so but Tom Izzo, the Michigan State men's basketball coach, said something really touching in a speech after the game, because he told Cassius Winston, who lost his brother, take the time you need. If you don't want to play, you don't have to play, and he decided to lace up and go play. And so he played and had a really good game. And Coach Izzo said, he said, out of all of you, I think this is like his 26th year coaching at Michigan State as the head coach. And obviously he's been coaching longer than that. And he said this was one of the hardest times and most difficult things he has ever dealt with as a coach. And but what he said in the speech was that you have to always make sure you tell your friends and your family members that you love them and how much they mean to you. Because one day, you're talking to them on the phone, and the next, they could be gone. Getting a little emotional talking about it now. But so I told my students that. And so because they asked me, well, what do you do when you miss your family members? And I think the key is you have to reach out. There's really no other... Or sit at home, I guess, and eat Ben & Jerry's and cry. I don't really know what the correct thing, but I think the healthy thing is, at least for me, I don't know about you, Jared, but for me, the healthy thing for me is to reach out, say you miss them, say you love them, and if they have some time, maybe you can talk to them, Skype, FaceTime, or whatever, phone call.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and it's easy to make excuses not to do it. I always make excuses not to do it, but yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. And it does seem like you do talk to your parents a good bit, and you try to keep that consistency.
At least once a week, the three of us, my mom, my dad, and I talk. Yeah, and I usually... my dad's not a big texter. I mean, look, my dad had told us that he wanted to die before he got a cell phone. So that just goes to show you he had to get one for work. And now that he has one, he just has it. So, and it's good
He's
too,
addicted
just in
like the
case of
rest of us
emergencies
still.
and stuff. He does. He. Here's the funny thing, Jared. My dad loves Pinterest. I was looking at his phone, and I'm like, you have Pinterest on your phone? What the hell is
He's
going
like
on here?
a 20-year-old girl from 2010.
Right. And he was like, there's lots
Do people
of cool
still use
artwork.
Pinterest? I mean, I guess so. He uses it.
I think so. Yeah, I guess so. If a 70-some-year-old man, 70, how old is he, 73, 74, 73, is using Pinterest, then I think some people are still using it. Or maybe not. Maybe that means no one uses it. I don't know. But, yeah. So yeah, we do try to talk a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, I think we should spread some love. And because of that, I
Spread
would
a
like to
little
give a
love.
early shout out to Cassius Winston and the entire Winston family. I'm surprised I didn't bring it up earlier, but I can't imagine what they're going through. And I know they've gotten plenty of love and support from the Albion community, the Michigan State community, but we also send our love to you as well. We can't imagine what you're going through. My next shout out goes out to, this is kind of a crazy story, Jared. It is called the Senior Songbook. And my next shout out goes out to a lyricist named Alan R. Tripp and jazz pianist Marvin Weisberg, who have produced a beautifully orchestrated work filled with new originals that kind of set the scene back to the big band era. So the Senior Songbook is an album that was released by the oldest professional songwriting team in music history. The album was released on November 15th, 2019, and the lyricist is 102 years old, and his junior teammate is 88 years old. So between the two of them, we're looking at quite a lot of experience. And so what's cool, though, is that the album was designed to fill the void that seniors who long desire the stylings of pre-rock era types of music. So the Senior Songbook has swing, tango, rumba, and other styles, along with the big band orchestration panache. And
Rumba.
so it's really great.
Never heard of that one.
Yeah, and there's also,
I thought that was just a
apparently
vacuum
there's
cleaner.
a lot of humor in the album. And so Tripp uses a lot of humor in his method of writing lyrics. Calling lyrics simply honest, Tripp voices his belief that one is certainly doomed if he or she cannot laugh. In the
Where'd you hear
chorus of
about
the
this?
album's first single, don't worry about it.
Okay.
In the chorus of the album's first single, I just can't remember your name, one can hear Tripp's mischievous approach to songwriting. I know I ought to kiss you, but baby, there's an issue. I just can't remember your name.
I wonder if he's.
so
I
there
know
you
I
go.
gotta kiss you.
Probably. I mean, it's big band, it's swing, baby. Some swing. So yeah. But dude, I just think it's awesome the fact that these 102 and an 88-year-old man
Putting out
produced
albums.
an album together.
I love that.
Dude,
Yeah, that's awesome.
I bet you this album is probably more fire than half the stuff that was dropped this year.
Dude,
I'm
we're
just saying.
We're gonna be 86, and I'm gonna be your junior at 85, and we're gonna be putting out podcasts.
Yeah, so today we went to the store to get some more hard Werther's candies.
I love Werther's.
Yeah, that's
bro.
true. Werther's are good. But I feel like
I'd
I
still buy
think of
Werther's
old
right
people.
now. Oh yeah,
I would too.
Well, you know
They're
why
delicious.
I started loving them was because my grandma always had them.
Yep, exactly. That's how they get you, Jared. That's how they get you.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, but I think that's so awesome. And honestly, dude, just Google Senior Songbook. You will not be disappointed.
All right.
It is hilarious. The songs
All right.
are lit. It's great. If
Lit.
you're into big band or swing, it's really good. And the composition is great as well. It's super awesome. But you know what else is super awesome, Jared?
The Untranslatable podcast. Because we like to
believe
spread
it.
untranslatables. Hey, bro. So I've been looking at Amaran's. Oh no, not
Yes.
We've been. I've been looking.
Never stop.
I've been looking at Amaran's. Listen to our previous pod with her of the Foreign Language Collective and untranslatable.co. Hit up that Is it a Kickstarter? Is that what it is? I'm sorry. I
believe so.
I didn't
think
mean
so,
to.
yeah.
I wasn't
I think you're
expecting to bring this up, but I brought this up to say every time I look at that untranslatable.co, she always has stories. She's always on top of her game. That's why she's doing so much better than us. I always am trying to figure out how can I somehow weasel my way into this or into this situation and be part of this. And I sometimes I think I want to be like, hey, every if you want, I can every week I can send you untranslatables from Chad and I that you can put up on your website or something like that. Like our untranslatable clip or something. I'm always thinking like, how can I somehow
That's
get
a great
into
idea.
this? Into this foreign
idea.
language thing she's got going on here. And that's just an idea I'm throwing out now on the podcast, now that I think about it.
It's a good one. I approve. 10 out of 10. 11 out of 10.
All right. Chat approves. Look forward to the upcoming collab. All right. I'll give you an example of somebody
Also, we
who's
need her back on
untranslatables.
at some point because she was great. But yeah, give me an example of an untranslatable, Jared.
My first one is Farsi, and it's Sag Sig Hab Sho Nemishesa. And it means, I said that definitely wrong. Sag Sahib Sesho Nemishenese. That's probably wrong too, obviously, but I feel like I missed a. Anyway, it literally means a dog doesn't recognize its owner.
Dog doesn't recognize its owner. I don't even know where to begin with this one, Jared. Can you give me a clue?
I'm trying to. I got a lot going on at work right now. My the old lady's breathing down my back. I'm trying to produce a podcast here. I'm trying to learn piano. I'm trying to cook dinner for this family. I'm trying to get some sleep. A dog doesn't even recognize its owner.
So it's to be unappreciative or ungrateful.
No.
It's to be.
This is
worked
me.
down and tired. Beat
This
down.
is how I'm feeling.
Yeah, beat down, tired, unappreciated.
Not unappreciated, but I'll give you a half ham horn. Life is chaotic.
Okay.
There's like a lot
That's
going
fair.
on. Yeah, so there's a lot going on. Life's chaotic. Everyone knows what chaotic means. I don't need to explain chaotic to people.
You do not. That is for sure. I'm going to let you choose, Jared. I'm going to give you the power. Do you want me to start with a Finnish one or another Kiwi one?
Give me a Kiwi one first. Kiwi.
All right, the Kiwi one. A little Kiwi, untranslatable. It always turns Australian for me. I cannot do a Kiwi accent. Anyways, the word is wop wops.
That sounds racist. It's racist towards Italians, so I guess it's fine. Wah. What'd you say it was again? Wop wop?
Wop wops.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Wop wops.
I have no. Is that like some sort of snack?
It is. No, it's not. I'll give you an example, Jared. I don't know if this will help you, but we took a tiki tour to the beach and ended up in the wop wops.
We took a tiki tour to the beach and ended up in the wop
Ended up in the wop wops.
In the ocean?
Nope.
I have no idea. Drunk?
We have an English untranslatable that has to do with Egypt.
Oh, you ended up in the middle of nowhere.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
BFE as we would say here in the US.
Right.
Okay, the whoop
sticks
whoops
and the boonies.
Interesting. It would be fun for us as Americans. Well, we have people in New Zealand. Hey, New Zealanders, spread the word. Here in the United States, the reason I said that thing about Italians is because here the word wop is a derogatory word for Italians. That's why I said all that Italian stuff earlier. Go spread
I didn't know that.
No, all right. Well, go spread that here in the U.S. too. That's why I said that earlier about Italians. I didn't just say that out of nowhere.
I figured there was a reason for it. Usually there's a method for your madness.
I'm glad
Jared.
I brought it up now because I thought you knew that. Anyway, my next untranslatable is Hindi, and it's Pani me lakad magad se bed. Obviously, said it. I'm starting to get really, really. I don't need to do this too because I could just play it straight from the translator. Anyway,
More fun
I think I'm starting to get self-conscious. It's only taken 151 episodes,
Right.
but I'm starting to get a little self-conscious all of a sudden. Living in water and being an enemy of the crocodile is not good.
No, it's not. That doesn't sound good. That means like you're stuck in between a rock and a hard place.
Not really. No.
No. It's not. Give me a clue.
Living in water and being an enemy of the crocodile is not good. If you want to live in the water, you have to learn how to live with the crocodile.
So keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
No, it essentially just means that you have to learn how to like adapt to your, area.
Ah,
You have to know how to get along with your neighbors and adapt to wherever it is you're living.
That makes sense.
The meaning that they gave me on the website was you can't live in Rome and fight with the Pope, which I don't really like that, but I get what they're. That's all. That sounds like an untranslatable in itself.
That does, doesn't it? All right. I'm going to save the Finnish one for another episode, and I'm going to give you a Chinese one to end my untranslatables for today. And it is, let me see here, Shun Qi Ji Ran, which means to follow nature.
It's just like
follow
to trust
nature.
your gut. Have faith. And, it just means you have to go to the bathroom?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. I kind of you were kind of close with the like have faith a little bit, but it's a little different than that.
Is this
let me
like
think of an example. Well, let me ask you, Jared. Can you control the nature?
Oh, it's like don't try to like. Oh, it's like don't try to control what's outside of your control, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Just let it be. Go with the flow. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay. You know who's a go with the flow kind of folk? The Germans. Now that's a segue, folks. Now that's a segue.
That is a segue. That is a segue. Not so sure I agree with that statement, but yeah. So let's talk stereotypes, Jared. Mm-hmm. Let's get spicy.
Why do you keep saying that? I don't think it has to be as spicy as you think it's going to be.
Doesn't have to be spicy?
No. We're all friends here.
That's true. You're right.
Listen. Just go back, listen to the previous 150 episodes of the podcast, and you'll know we mean no harm. We're merely scientists trying to figure out culture and language and why it is these things exist.
Right. Very true. Very true. So what do you got for us today, Jared?
Well, I thought you... No. I want to start with why you think stereotypes are a thing, where they come from. Didn't you say you had something about that to me? Did we not?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I was going crazy for a second.
Stereotypes, from what I've read, and this is from a couple various like psychology sources, is that, and now first of all, let me preface, I'm not a psychologist. I have never been trained in psychology.
I am, though.
I'm a language teacher. Jared is trained in everything and anything under the sun. This is why he has the outwithstanding role of being the co-host of the Untranslatable podcast. But the whole point here is that a lot of psychologists say that, I guess humans, we like to categorize things. We like to fit things neatly into boxes, right? Mm-hmm. And so stereotyping kind of comes from that. It also comes from the notion of you meet one or two people from somewhere different, whether it be a different ethnicity, different country, different nationality, whatever, and you notice something different about them, and then you tell your friends then tell their friends, so on and so forth, and this is how stereotypes, it's a very simple, watered-down way stereotypes are born, but that is kind of how they're born.
And I think it's also the aspects of the aspects of these cultures that, like, what becomes a stereotype also tends to be what's like most popular in media about them, like how you most often hear about them in media. So it's like, well, whenever you're talking about this culture, you only tend to bring these people up if you're talking about like something, And so like, yeah, there's so much more to their culture, but the only aspect that is, I don't know, lucrative to on TV or whatever, or like is the one we hear about.
Comedy or whatever. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. And I think the thing about stereotypes is that although occasionally there is some truth to them, it's always just dangerous to make broad generalizations of an entire nation, an entire race, an entire ethnicity, whatever that may be.
It's just not going to get you anywhere, Like it's not. Right. It's not helpful. It's.
But see, here's the other thing about stereotypes that I think is interesting, Jared, is that yes, I don't think generalizations are helpful in any way, but at the same time, I think a lot of different countries and cultures, they like to look at themselves as, we're American, we're German, we're Chinese, we're whatever. And so I think some people also buy into the stereotypes themselves, especially if they're a positive stereotype,
For sure. Yeah. I think people definitely start embracing, yeah. But I think it also goes back to that what becomes lucrative, And so, but yeah, it becomes it's like, you always hear in it's a popular sitcom trope to say, especially like back in like the 80s and 90s, to say, hey, if someone's making fun of you, embrace that thing that they're making fun of you about and make fun of yourself about it, and then they can't make fun of you about it anymore. And it's kind of like a national version of that in a weird way, Right. It's like, yeah, we are this.
That's kind of a good strategy.
Yeah. I'm a huge proponent of making fun of oneself,
It's
definitely,
important.
yeah.
It's like you can't,
like, yeah, I'm aware of this about myself too. Now what, And I kind of like it.
What you can do now.
Yeah.
Right.
You can make fun of it, but I'm happy.
I think stereotypes, they'll become dangerous or spicy, as I was saying earlier. I think spicy is probably the wrong word. I just like saying the word spicy, let's be honest. It's a good word. But no, I think stereotypes really become dangerous, though, when people really attach their identities to them, right? Like a stereotype about white people. White people don't have rhythm. White people can't dance. Like, look, I am by no means a good dancer at all. But I think if I really, truly kept reinforcing that stereotype with myself, you would never see me on the dance floor, even with quite a few drinks in my system. But I get out there. I'm not great. I'm not super smooth, but it is what it is.
Okay.
But I think the thing that's dangerous is just when you embrace a stereotype to the point where you think it's true about yourself because of you're white or you're whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's very true. Yeah. Where you start putting yourself into a box or limiting yourself. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've seen that before. Being a black person, I've definitely seen examples of that from that angle. Do you wanna just go through some? I guess, are we gonna do this? Is this what we're gonna do?
It. Oh yeah, we're gonna do it. Let's do it.
All right. So we'll start with Americans because that's what we are, and that's the easiest.
Right.
Now,
for sure.
The one
we're loud.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
Can I just? Okay. We're loud. We're fat.
Yeah. I think, that one I don't stand by anymore. I still stand by the loud one. I'm not going to do this for all the...
I do too.
I'm not going to do this for all the countries, but I'll do this for the U.S. because this is our country.
The Americans.
Definitely still loud. I mean, there's no denying the fact that you can. It's easy to spot a group of Americans outside of the United States.
Oh, very easy.
The fat thing, I don't really. Fast food eaters, I disagree with. Obviously, most popular fast food restaurants, we invented, sure, but
right.
Those are now those are now global companies. Most of them, like KFC's bigger in where you're at than it is here, probably.
Right. Also, is bigger in the Czech Republic. So yeah, very true.
I would say we're nationalistic is a big one, probably.
Yep. I would agree with that. And the funny thing is, I think the three countries, in my opinion, at least from what I've heard and what I've seen, that are the most nationalistic are the United States, China, and Russia.
Interesting. I didn't know that about China. I'm going to be honest with you. Russia kind of makes
Chinese
sense to
flags
me.
everywhere. Chinese flags all over the place.
Do people like wear them? Like you know how people here you'd see
you'll
a girl with like
you'll see
American
a shirt
flag
with
bikini
a patch with a Chinese flag. I've never seen bikinis, but I haven't been on the beach yet.
I feel like there's just a lot less
like
bikini wearing happening in China
stuff,
in general.
Probably. I don't know though. If you go down south, that could be different.
Do they have they have beaches there?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, there are coastal cities. There's beaches all over China.
I mean, it's a giant country. That's a dumb question.
But yeah, I would agree though. I would say not only nationalistic, but like there are a lot of Americans who have a lot of like blind pride. And I think a lot of Americans who have the blind pride have never gone abroad before. Because I feel like the moment you go abroad, you realize like there's a lot of great things about the United States, but there's also a lot of things that aren't so great. And you start to realize those as you go abroad.
I'd say there are a lot of countries that have general pride for their country. Like I know a lot of I don't know, just off the top of my head, a lot of South American countries or Central American countries, they're very proud. But they don't get. Right. Do they get the same sort of stereotype of nationalism?
I don't think so, because I don't think they're as loud about it as we are in the United States.
And then once you start going to Europe, especially Germany, Austria area, nationalism as a word is a very negative thing. Because last time,
of course,
because it didn't end well last time.
Nope.
Granted, it's not going well this time for the U.S. either, but
right.
It didn't end well. They're almost like on the complete other. I mean, not Austria. I don't know about Austria really, to be honest with you, but Germany, unless the first, at least I remember when I lived in Germany, that was when the World Cup was in Germany for the first time in a while. In 2006, And that was I remember there was a lot of conversation about that was the first time in a long, long time where there was like sights of outward pride or or outward pride for the country or chanting for the country, because that doesn't really happen there.
Right. Only during football matches or soccer matches.
Right.
That's about it.
Yeah.
That's about it. But yeah. Good. Give me some other U.S. stereotypes, Jared.
Materialistic. But
yep,
they're not all going to be negative, by the way. We can't all make this negative about the U.S. I would say the opposite, not the opposite, but another way to spin the materialism would be very ambitious. I'd say very, even if it's sort of blind ambition, we're still very, ambitious people. Everyone kind of thinks that, I think that it's, even people that aren't doing well, a lot of them have the sort of dream that they can make it one day. There's a lot of I can make it one day dreams, I think, here in the US.
Yeah,
I think that's a good thing.
Definitely. Yeah, I do too.
Efficient, I'd say we get some of that too. We might not be known for that, but I think it's a stereotype, because I think there's also the stereotype of overworked too. But I think with that comes a lot of stuff getting done.
I think another big thing about stereotypes for Americans, I do think around the world, for the most part, we are stereotyped as being very friendly and being very open, which I'm always happy to hear that. And I think for the most part, that's fairly true. I would say.
Very religious too. We're a very religious country, I would say.
Yep. Yeah. Especially down south.
Very Christian.
Especially down south.
I mean, I don't want to say religious. We're known as being a very Christian country.
Right. Which is interesting because we have a lot of other religions in the United States. Other than Christianity. Let's talk about some other stereotypes, though, buddy.
Now, this website I got this from is literally called nationalstereotype.com.
There we go.
So, I don't know. Take that as you would like. They group Arabs together, so I assume that means, just Middle Eastern countries like Saudi Arabia, UAE, that sort of area?
I would assume so, but that itself, I think, is a bit problematic. But anyways, what stereotypes do they have?
Oh, you mean grouping them together?
Yeah, because I think although they share the same religion, I've heard like even the type of Islam is different in different Arabic countries. You know, you have Sunni and Shiite Muslims.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like saying, it's like how, Catholics and Protestants don't agree with each other and think that the way they follow Christianity is ridiculous or whatever.
What are some stereotypes though about this group?
Billionaires obviously is a popular one.
Okay.
I think there's also a lot of let me put it this way. A lot of the stereotypes I hear come from I'm a very big car nerd, so I'm going to give you the stereotypes I hear a lot from them. Obviously, billionaires. I hear a lot about sort of showy-offy. A lot of the billionaires. They flaunt their money a lot, I would say.
Right.
Also, another one these are all car-related ones, is that they're known. If you go online, there's these crazy videos of people in various just open freeway areas, just driving like old Camrys and stuff, just doing these crazy drifts where they're essentially just spinning cars. Have you seen that before?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Okay. And it's not like some sort of super slippery ground, because you'll even see them like with their feet outside of the car, spinning the wheel and just like drifting. And like sometimes you'll see like them, like they can get the car on two wheels sideways too. And they'll be and they'll just be doing these crazy slides down, essentially open freeways, outside of the car, inside of the car, sitting on like the roof of the car, but spinning the wheels still. It is amazing, and also just terrifying to watch. Obviously, very religious. Obviously, I don't have to say it, but I will say it. Very religious. Obviously, here, there's the terrorist thing, and that's obviously very generic too. It's
terrible.
Just like generically for that area. That's what they say. And I would say also another funny one that I see here is shisha is a very popular one too, which I guess is true, especially since there's also the stereotype of not drinking too, which is probably some of them are, maybe that's true. Some countries it's true, some countries it's not. But maybe that leads to more tobacco, because everyone has some sort of vice, let's be honest.
That is true. Very true. Give me some other stereotypes.
This is just how this is going to go? Is this me
I'm
just
making you
saying
say all the bad
everything?
ones. All right, fine. I'll give you some stereotypes. I'll go with Germans. Hope I'm not stealing your thunder here, Jared.
Before we go to I'll give you a second for this. How do you feel about the idea of quote unquote positive stereotypes? Where people, I'll just leave it at that. Well, I'll elaborate later. I'll leave it at that.
I think positive stereotypes in a way can be just as negative, actually, as negative stereotypes, if you really have it like cling to your identity. Like, I feel like there's so many people who are like, oh yeah, I'm from this place, so I have to be like this. And I feel like, at least in the United States, I think we are very individualistic, and which makes me automatically think, why are you just blindly agreeing with the stereotype? Just because you're born, like, granted, every country has its own culture, and I get that. And stereotypes have a lot to do with culture as well. But at the same time, just because you're from South America doesn't mean you have to show up late everywhere. I have South American friends, and they would almost use them being from South America as like, oh yeah, I'm late.
What are you going to do? That's what we do.
Right. And it's like, come on, man, you have a watch, you have a phone, you can set an alarm. Like,
I feel like that's a slight dig at one of your best friends, Robert.
Oh, he was always late in high school. Always. I love him to death, but always late for sure.
To be fair, when I was in France, I did tell you about how like we were like in class and we would have a 15-minute break, and as the break was ending, like people would be lighting a new cigarette, and I would be like, don't we have to go back? And then you look over and see the teacher also lighting a new cigarette, and you're like, okay, I guess this is just how they roll. I'll say this though, the other thing about. Also, that's not a positive stereotype.
It's not. Well, I think positive stereotypes can be kind of...
Oh, I was gonna say the other thing about positive stereotypes though is that they're also dangerous. If like when people like put them on other people, so like when people say like, "Oh no, it's not offensive," it's a positive stereotype because then you're just First of all, you're just reducing someone to
a stereotype,
to something, and then it puts some sort of. I would say it also puts like a weird sort of expectation on that person.
Absolutely.
To be like you expect them to be. It's like, oh, all Asians are good at math. You're probably good at math. What tip should I leave or something? I don't know. And the person's like, I don't fucking know. It's like,
right. I'm a graphic designer.
It's like now I'm an idiot because I don't know this math off the top. Right. I don't know. But yeah. So I think negative stereotypes are just as dangerous because it does as
positives. Yeah.
Yeah. But also, I'll say this: it is fun as sometimes it is fun as the group to embrace a stereotype, like. But also, it is annoying. If someone's like, "Oh, you're this, you're good at that."
So, what are some stereotypes that you think either you would like or you think people would like to embrace
about Americans, or just in general?
In general, could be. Different countries, doesn't really matter. I do think that Germans do like. I think a lot of Germans do like the fact that Germany. I think the stereotype is they're known for being punctual, and they're known for being like orderly,
precise,
and clean. Right, precise, definitely. Now I think that stereotype though is probably looked down upon a little bit in Berlin because Berlin is just a different world. But I would say
that's
most
a small.
of Germany,
and when that's a small microcosm when you're talking about the whole country.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. And once again, coming from the car world, companies like BMW, Audi, and Mercedes, and Porsche and whatnot really embrace like that precision, in their culture of the companies.
Right. Oh,
and
absolutely.
also, sometimes it's used as a negative stereotype too, where they'll talk about how Germans unnecessarily overcomplicate things just for the sake of it. Just because they like that they are so like proud of their like precise engineering, where it's like but you didn't have to do all this for a cup holder,
right? A grain of truth, I think, is in that stereotype.
Or it's like it's sometimes over precise.
Yes, yeah, especially dealing with German bureaucracy, without a doubt.
Well, how do you feel about as you love the German culture? Obviously, you love the language and all that stuff. You definitely take an offense to the stereotype that their language is disgusting sounding. And you seem to also take offense to the stereotype that they don't have a sense of humor.
Yes, because Germans that I know are hilarious. Some of the funniest people I know are Germans. Great sense of humor, very smart, very quick wit. Like that's the kind of humor I like. It's not like dumb slapstick humor, but it's really, really sharp. And I don't think the German language is ugly, and I think the problem is there's a misconception, and this also goes back to stereotypes, where a couple of videos came out a few years ago of people saying words in different languages, and then the guy who was doing the German one would just yell it. So it'd be like butterfly, papillon, Schmetterling.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to yell it.
Right, exactly.
And he'd be like slamming his fist. And there's also that sort of stereotype of that stereotype of like Hitler talking, and like I remember there was some movie that came out. What was it? Maybe it was Inglourious Bastards, where it was like him going like 99999. There's like there's sort of that like yelly like always in movies since a big stereotype of Germany is, just the Holocaust. There's so many movies about it. You usually get like the angry Nazi German, like you get in the war is it's like, of course they're going to be angry. They're getting shot at.
Well, that also brings me to the stereotype of like Russians. As Americans, at least for us, Russians are always like the villains and the bad guys. I think it's like only because of the stupid political agenda. Right. And I don't think that has any truth at all.
They can all fight.
It's really crazy. Right. And they're all big too. They're all just big and burly men.
They're all like connected.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy. I don't know. But yeah, I think some stereotypes I don't know. I think stereotypes, like anything, it's really easy to take them too far.
For sure.
Even positive stereotypes can have a lot of negative effects, most definitely. I want to ask you, though, Jared, because let me say, as a white guy, I feel like all the stereotypes for white people are pretty much just talk about how clumsy and, like, not smooth white people are, like, you know, like, and I really... I wouldn't say I take offense to white stereotypes because I'm not like, it doesn't like hurt my feelings, but it definitely does kind of make me feel like, well, like shit, like I can't think of any like positive stereotypes about white people.
Positive stereotypes. Well, I'm sure there
like only negative ones come into mind for me.
Yeah. I mean, there's the stereotype that they like rule the world.
But see, that one to me is also bad.
Listen, not to some white people.
That's true, I guess. That's true.
I mean, there is the stereotype that they're successful, like in especially in the U.S. You know, like there's the white dude stereotype of just wearing khakis and going to an office.
Right.
It's kind of lame, but usually it also has to do with that person making money. There you go. I don't know why I'm trying to stick up for you.
I feel like there are no cool...
You feel better, Whitey?
I feel like there are no cool...
Do you not have enough already?
I feel like there's just no cool stereotypes about white people.
No, probably not. But I mean, in like the world, really, the white person, especially the white man, is like the, you know, quote unquote top of the top. So there's no real benefit to anyone in giving them any sort of, like, no one wants to give them.
That's true.
Like they're the last group that anyone wants to give them any sort of like you know, leeway to, you know. Right.
Very true. Very true.
You know what stereotype really annoys the shit out of me?
What's that one?
Is the black person big penis one. I freaking hate that stereotype. No, not because...
I wasn't going to say it. I wasn't even going to say it. I was waiting for you.
It's really burned me a lot. No. But I do hate that stereotype because it's always just an annoying, like, objectification. And it really bothers me. And whenever I hear someone, and, you know, I listen to a lot of comedy and stuff like that. And whenever I hear someone, like, you know, use that as a joke reference, it always just ruins the joke for me. I hate it.
Can I ask you?
It always sounds kind of slavey to me too. It always feels slavey to me. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Does it make a difference if it's a black comedian making the joke or a white comedian?
I still won't like the joke. Maybe I won't be as offended. I'm not offended. That's not the right word. I won't like the joke, but I won't be. It'll be coming from a different place. I'll be like, oh, come on, why'd you got to go there? Like you know better, rather than like is that the best you got? Either way, yeah, no, kind of coming from the same place. I don't like it. it.
Are there any stereotypes that you like about black people?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. We set the culture in the world.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
We
90% of the music I listen to is, you know, comes from black artists.
I think we just have this stereotype of generally being cooler, I would say.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that I like or dislike the dancing one. I don't really like that one, only because I'm not a dancer, so that one's burned me a couple times.
Okay.
But you know, I don't really think of that much about. You would have thought I would have thought about black person stereotypes. No, I don't like stereotypes in general. Like, you know, so no matter what the stereotype is, if it comes from someone being like, well, you know, black people are like this, I'd be like, I mean, I guess, but why'd you gotta, you know?
Right.
I
would agree with you. I just don't think stereotypes, and I think the other thing about stereotypes too is that it in a way kind of allows you to keep people at a distance in a way. Mm-hmm. Because like if I just assume like, oh, you know, like You're a black guy, you're a good dancer. To me, that means I'm not willing to take the time to get to know you and actually find out, do you even like to dance? Maybe you don't even like music. You know what I mean? So I feel like stereotypes are a way to just like label and make it seem like you know somebody when you really have no idea who they are.
Actually, now that I think about it, black people also have that sort of stereotype too of being like tough people, you know, and like that like like that stereotype of like don't mess with him, like he'll be able to beat you up. Kind of similar to Russians actually. That sort of like don't mess with that guy because they'll beat you up kind of thing.
Right.
Where it's like, yeah, no, believe it or not, like, no, we can't all fight. We're not all tough guys.
Right. Yeah, I feel like in general, stereotypes are definitely like, look, I think on a comedy standpoint, I think it's not the best approach to comedy. Also, I'm not a professional comedian, so my opinion doesn't really matter that much about comedy, but I do think it's kind of a cheap and easy way to do comedy if you only focus on stereotypes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a way to have a good take on it, but I think also having that good take probably would have to involve you having like experience, in that culture. So maybe it would, be coming from more of like a story like I was in, Belgium one time, and I ordered a beer or something like that. I don't know,
Right.
I'm no comedian. Trust me, you guys know. You listen to this podcast.
Yeah. You and me both, buddy. You and me both. Yeah.
Do you want to go through some other ones? Let's go through a couple. I just want to go through one or two more countries.
Let's do it.
Let's do Canadians.
Wait. Okay, we'll do Canadians. But then what I want you to do next is after we do Canadians, I want you to tell me a stereotype and I want to place it somewhere.
All right, let's just do that now. Forget Canadians.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, Canadians, I feel like the stereotype is they're nice and they're polite. Overly nice, overly polite.
Yeah,
and that's all I got. That's all I got.
Okay. Flirtatious.
I'd have to go with either Latin America or Italy.
Okay. Latin America or Italy. Yeah, I'd give you that too. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, okay. Maybe Spain.
Spain as well, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Drunks. Obviously, there's a bunch for this.
That
one.
Could be so many. The Germans,
some of your
the Czechs,
the Americans,
maybe the Russians as well. Americans,
well,
definitely.
Maybe the Russians. How dare you? Yeah.
Maybe the Russians aren't drunks because they can just handle their vodka. Just doesn't get them drunk anymore. That was my take on that. You never know.
I'd say like British, Scottish, Irish.
True. Also true.
Australia, New Zealand, those areas. All the
drunks.
English speakers, really. All the English speakers are known for being
Right. Give me another one, Jared.
Okay. Friendly. Now, we already said the U.S.
Obviously, Americans. Yep. Friendly. I don't know. There could be a lot of different places. I don't know. What comes to your mind for friendly?
I would say a lot of Asian countries have the friendly, especially to like tourists. I would say Netherlands, very friendly.
Yep, I would agree.
And I think they're known for being friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say argumentative.
Ooh, argumentative. I'm trying to think. The French?
I was gonna say Italians.
Okay.
Because like they're always the vibe you always get from like for example, Family Guy, where Peter goes to the butcher and he's like a boobida bobbity, oh boobida bobbity boobida, and Brian's like, You're not speaking Italian, Peter. And then the Italian guy goes back and boobida bobbity.
Yeah.
And they're just like arguing out of nowhere. I think that's kind of a stereotype, is that they're just always sort of like yelling at each other.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Smart. Who has the the smart stereotype?
I would say Asians.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah.
Asians.
Yeah. Not Asians and what would you call like I'd say like all of Asia, not even just like the
Right.
I don't know how you name the different
I would
areas,
agree.
but not just like the area you live in. I'd say just like Asia period kind of has that stereotype.
Oh, yeah. I would agree 100%. India, South Korea, Japan, China. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All sorts of places here, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. What about if I say horses and
Horses.
hawks? Horses and
Oh.
hawks.
Oh, I like where your head's at. That to me sounds like Mongolia.
You better believe it, buddy. And that leads us to our song of the pod for today.
Dude, this
Which
song
is by the...
goes horde.
It does. Goes horde. That's true. It's by a band. I don't know if it's pronounced the who or the huh or the... I don't know. It's H-U.
Yeah.
The and then H-U. And the song is
Yeah.
called Shug Shug. And the lyric video is super epic. I feel like if
But
you
Shug
need...
is it Cyrillic is the alphabet?
Yes.
Looks
Because
like
because-
weir. Like if you read it, because they have the subtitles.
'Cause
It looks like
the
weir.
sh is kind of like a W. Well, it's 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
right. But
But
it's got a really cool bass line. It's really interesting. This whole song is just quite a ride.
What do you call that kind of melody? Like that sort of like it's like you're on a train almost, you know?
Right. Yeah, it's got a good rhythm to it, a good groove to it. Do 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 do.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's really good. And there's of course Mongolian throat singing in there, which is I love it. It sounds super interesting.
And at the beginning, it starts with that flute. I love that. I even love the beginning. Like, yeah.
Yep. It's a wild ride. It is a wild ride.
It is a wild ride. That is a great way to explain it. And it's like you're hopping on for a ride whenever you listen to the song. Dude, I love this song. And if you're trying to get pumped, if you're about to go on a road, if you're about to like go on a road trip and drive like Dominic Toretto from Fast and the Furious for the next 6 hours, put this song on repeat. And you'll have
Straight
that one
7 hours.
taut straight arm on the top on 12 on the steering wheel, just like shaking, just rocking your head for.
Oh, for sure. This song though is super epic. It's awesome.
Yes, I love this song. It was. Did you find this when you were in Mongolia, or did you hear about this when you were there?
I didn't. This was the crazy thing. So one of our other songs of the pod, maybe 3 or 4 episodes ago, is called Radio by Rammstein. And I was listening to it on the walk to
that
work.
makes sense.
And it came up on my Spotify like recommended songs, which is kind of interesting. I mean, I guess I see where they were coming from, whatever the Spotify algorithm
It sounds like a
is.
similar genre to me, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, just with a Mongolian twist, obviously. But yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and when I heard it, I immediately was like, I screenshotted the song, and I was like, this needs to be a song of the pod because it is
Now, is
too
that like
epic to not be one.
Is that like a popular sort of? Now, this might be out of your depth, but is that like a popular genre
Expertise.
in Mongolia?
I think so. At least the couple Mongolian people I met and talked
Like
to.
pop genre.
Well, I think there's like I think it's like rock music in the States. You have people who absolutely adore it and love it, and then you have people that are just kind of like, not quite my thing. So I don't know if every Mongolian person is into it. Once again, talking about generalizations here. I doubt that every Mongolian, but I think it's pretty popular, yeah.
But like,
They
for
seem to be
example,
really popular.
When we were in Czech Republic, you were talking about how like a certain music similar to that actually was very popular. I don't remember what exactly the genre that it was, and that it was also popular among the camo pant wearing group of people that you see around. And that obviously was sort of a generalization. That's not the... but we saw it when we were there, a bunch of spiky-haired camo people like at Usudu in that one room listening to, that genre. So, obviously it is a stereotype.
You could call it maybe a hard rock, alternative, even metal maybe.
Yeah, it seems like it's floating into metal
for
me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome, though. It's super epic. So check that out. It's a lyric video as well. Check out our YouTube channel, Untranslatable Podcast, and the Song of the Pod playlist, Shug Shug.
You betcha.
The who, the huh, I don't know. But check it out. It's great. You'll really enjoy it. So now it's time to talk about our Chinese and Spanish words of the pod. And mine is Translalandiao, which means cliche, because I think a lot of stereotypes now have become very cliche.
Oh, interesting. All right. I don't have a Spanish word of the pod because I'm not prepared, but damn it.
Wah,
Yeah. Wah, wah. But what I want to use is just I actually, it's not even that I don't have one. It's that stereotype is literally just stereotype in Spanish.
Let's hear it.
Well, I have to type it in because I looked it up earlier.
Stereotipo?
You might be right. Estereotipo. That sounded kind of Spanish or Italian.
More Italian.
Me. But it is estereotipo is what it says. Yeah. Okay. Generalization, caricature, stereotype.
That makes sense. Well, let's recap today's episode, and I think
that wasn't as spicy as you thought it was going to be.
It really wasn't. That was mild at best, Jared. I'm a little disappointed in myself. Mild at best.
That wasn't even medium.
I think we did. It wasn't. Not even close. Not even close. If this episode was a salsa, it would not be spicy enough for my liking.
Dude,
that's for sure.
I had tacos yesterday. This is going to be real quick. And I had pico de gallo, and I was so excited for it. I had this new thing of pico de gallo, and I was putting it on the table, and it fell off the table flat onto the ground, open, by the way. And I had just a pile of pico de gallo on the floor right before I was about to start eating. And I just sat there and cried for a second.
Bad omen. That's for sure. Don't lose your pico, Jared. That's for sure. But yeah, I think
I lost my pico.
That's right. Never
I'm getting caliente.
But yeah, I think the key about this episode with stereotypes is, although they do exist, and a lot of them I think exist for a lot of different cultural reasons, and like us trying to, and sometimes terribly failing at comparing people and making judgment calls. I do think that stereotypes can be very negative, very dangerous, and I think we need to be really careful about how we use them. I think there is a tasteful way to use them in terms of like jokes and comedy and stuff like that, but at the same time, I think people shouldn't get too hung up or too focused on stereotypes, and I think it's really important to try to really think about stereotypes critically and analytically and see if and when, and most of the times I think you can debunk them.
Stereotypes is a tool for the ignorant.
Oh, I like that. We're ending on
Don't
that,
be
Jared.
ignorant.
I like that. Mm-hmm. That's perfect. Yeah, stereotypes are definitely a tool for the ignorant. And get past those stereotypes, people. That is why we are here, the Untranslatable Podcast, to hopefully knock down some walls and build some more bridges.
Yeah.
Definitely don't let ignorance be bliss. But anyways, let us know what you thought of this episode by reaching out to us on email, untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. You can check out our YouTube channel for Shug Shug, our song of the pod for today, Untranslatable Podcast. Also, please feel free to tweet at Jared at our Twitter handle, Untranslatable1, the number 1. And lastly, check out our Insta page for clips and photos of all sorts of different adventures and cool stuff. And lastly, please give us some 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher and let us know how we can make this podcast better for you. So we appreciate your support. And as we say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, děkujeme, muchas gracias, shishya. Shug, shug. Shug, shug. Shug, shug.